Outsourcing is one of the fastest evolving and leading industries in the world, and India continues to dominate the global outsourcing market. The Outsourcing Summit 2014 provides a platform befitting of this dynamic sector to bring together industry stalwarts and all the stakeholders to discuss, deliberate and chart out a future course to reaffirm India's edge globally.
I think Aspect has been proudly associated with this for third year in a row, and we are very, very excited about our association with CNBC. I think it's a great platform to have, learn from all the leaders of the industry and, gain experiences from all of you who come from various backgrounds here attending to this, every year. So, big round of applause for all of us who've been here for a long time.
Welcome to the Outsourcing Summit 2014 and to our session, Can India Retain Its Global Edge? Joining me today on the panel are Mr. Sandeep Sen, Global Chief Executive Officer, Aegis Limited, Mr. Keshav Murugesh, Group Chief Executive Officer, WNS Global Services, Mr. Raman Roy, Chairman and Managing Director, Quattro, Mr. Gautam Thakkar, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director, Infosys BPO, Mr. Ashutosh Vaidya, Vice President and Global Delivery Officer, Dell Services, and Mr. Sanjay Gupta, Managing Director, India, SAARC and Middle East Aspect. Welcome, panelists. Let me start by asking you, Mr. Raman Roy, is India still the outsourcing destination for the world, or is it losing its edge to upcoming geographies like the Philippines?
If you look at statistics of what is coming into India, if you look at what is being initiated, the new things that are being done, they are primarily being done in India. Yes, Philippines has some voice advantage, and actually our appetite for the people that we need to be able to fulfill that is huge, and India's supply has not been up to the mark. So just to be able to meet that need, it has expanded, and Philippines has done a great job. Yes, the days of labor arbitrage are over as the only selling proposition.
Sure.
Now, labor arbitrage as a component does exist, and beyond that, and I guess we'll talk about it over the next hour or so, there is a lot more that is being offered, that India is offering. At least I have no hesitation in saying that we will retain the edge, we will actually be at the cutting edge, and we will be leaders in what else can be done.
All right, Sandeep, you've recently acquired a company in Malaysia. So tell us, do you agree with Raman?
I would like to add a few caveats to what Raman said. One is that for India to retain that edge, we've got to continuously innovate. As he said, labor arbitrage is a component, but clients are looking at far more in terms of process engineering, in terms of platform, in terms of outcomes, in terms of things which will impact their EPS. So therefore, for India to continue to do so, we will have to continue to innovate and move up.
Keshav, globally M&A deals have declined to over 15% and in 2013, and we've seen over the last 2 quarters a rebound, and we also foresee further consolidation. So, does this augur well for the BPO industry as well?
I think the biggest contribution that India has made to the world kind of economy is the fact that we actually created a business out of a boring, commoditized, back office kind of a function, created huge wealth, huge employment, huge impact, for obviously people in India, and then made it so attractive for, clients and countries alike that we've actually expanded the business in such a way that today we're having a discussion whether other countries are actually competing. It's no more about competition.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote a book called The Borderless World, and that's what it has become now. It's a borderless world. All of us, are no more talking only about India. We are talking about a global business. We are managing a global workforce. Idea here is, how are we all moving fast in order to acquire capability, to acquire, geographical kind of a footprint, and to be very relevant from an onshore and an offshore perspective to clients. And all of this and client behavior will drive M&A in the medium to long term.
All right. Sanjay, the industry has been rechristened as business process management. So tell us, how is it different from a BPO, and what does the industry really need to change to fit into this mold?
I think from my perspective, being a technology provider, I think experts can talk better, but it's a sum of what these panelists are talking about, wherein you are going and making an important impact in your end customers, business, right? Which is either impacting their customer experience significantly or impacting their bottom line significantly, because you are now delivering a large part of the work which otherwise was done, right? So it's not about just cost arbitrage, but it is about delivering a superior service. Now, it is a process of delivering a partner service, right, in a much superior way than it would have been done directly. So that's
also
what I would
is there a
describe.
need for a more skilled staff now?
Definitely there is a need for skilled staff, but it's not just only staff, it is also about deeper engagement and understanding of the customer's business so that you are able to play a larger role as opposed to just providing, feet on street, right?
Gautam, what are the technology trends that are gaining ground today in this sector, and how is India positioned to really tap into these opportunities?
A lot of the outsourcing actually started with the technology wave. So I think, we are well positioned. I think, they talked about social media analytics. It's about how, I remember the olden days, and Raman, you probably remember better, when, to get a link line used to take tremendous amount of time. To get a computer used to take longer. But I think things have changed dramatically. And when we talk about the enabling of technologies, whether it is, using platforms as Raman was alluding to, whether, we, for instance, in Infosys, we have procurement platforms that we've essentially put out. And those are the kind of technologies that clients essentially are recognizing and moving to, as opposed to just going directly to BPO. So it's more an integrated solution, and I think that's the direction it will probably continue in.
Ask me का इंतजार पूरे देश के लोग कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आसमी को पाना मुश्किल नहीं।
अरे भैया बिल्कुल मुमकिन है, जस्ट डाउनलोड आसमी, समझे?
Now search, get deals, post ads, buy now, or just call with the all-in-one app.
Ask me anything.
Ask me, the bomb of all apps.
The Tata InnoVista Awards are back with more celebration, excitement and innovation.
I believe it's very integral and very endemic to the culture.
Tata InnoVista is the biggest platform available for all Tata Group of companies.
I think it's fantastic.
It's a brilliant opportunity for everybody to get together and share ideas.
Watch the much anticipated awards at these times. A knowledge initiative by Tata. Leadership with trust.
Is this where doubts recede and resurgence begins? This is it. This is as big as it gets. With business raring to go and the economy revving back to life, this is it. This is a nation's journey of revival through a leader's first bold step to reform. The Modi Budget. This is it.
Grow competitive. वक्त से पहले और किस्मत से ज़्यादा.
Agenda of change.
Yes, this historic budget calls for a historic coverage. Decoded by the best team in the business of India's #1 business network, CNBC TV18. The Modi Budget. This is it.
Powered by State Bank of India, banker to every Indian. In association with Lloyd LED TV, जो दे खुशियों की guarantee. RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, growing legacies. AskMe.com, the barb of all apps. F6 FinServ, start investing. And Muthoot Papachan Group, believe in blue.
Ashutosh, automation is a disruptive force today and there's a lot of hype around it. But tell us the true picture. How should Indian companies, prepare themselves to, drive this change to get automation right?
It is going to be a huge disruption. And my sense is that we need to not just look at technology, but look at the overall organizational aspect to manage that automation. Because earlier when you look at automation, it used to be kind of like, simple task being replicated. Now, it is getting into man-machine interplay. So you cannot, the task is not simple. It has to be, let's say, broken down into, I would say, atoms, which different people do at a different time. And therefore, the kind of profile of people that you need, the kind of training that you need, and the kind of quality control you need, everything will change. So unless we start building an ecosystem that looks at automation as a whole, and starts looking at every aspect of our business, will not be able to, let's say, master automation and make full use of that.
Moving on, Sanjay, onshoring or offshoring, the better option?
From an India standpoint and being an Indian, I think offshoring definitely is a better choice, right? Because you always would like to give your business to people who can do it the best, right? In terms of all that we talked about, making the difference in the customer experience, or I think Sandeep touched upon on Net Promoter Score, right? Why would a customer come and buy from you again is only if you are giving a differentiated and a consistent service. My preference obviously is that give it to the experts.
I think I have a slightly different view. I think we need to take the customer's viewpoint. I think a lot of us have, all of us, I think, have had experience of, rebadging certain people on site because it was critical to the solution. I think it is what the solution that matters. If the customer, the right solution for the customer is to have some on-site, some offshore, some nearshore, that is the right solution.
According to a recent Diamond Cluster International Global IT outsourcing study, the number of buyers satisfied with their offshore providers has recently plummeted by nearly 20%. The study also states that the number of buyers that have abnormally terminated an offshore outsourcing relationship in the past 12 months has more than doubled to 51%. And another interesting statistic is the number of buyers planning to increase their offshore outsourcing in the next 12 months has declined from 86 to 70%. Now, what according to you are the reasons?
Can I take a stab at that?
Yes.
Okay. So my sense is that a lot of it is to do with the fact that many of our customers have their own captive centers in most locations, right? And these days, so having learned with us, having matured with us, a lot of them kind of get a sense that they could do that on their own.
Yeah.
Right? And that has kind of taken, you do work with an outsourcer for some time, then you get this itch saying that, hey, I can do it myself. Then you go set up your own captive centers. Most of the time, you sort of, it could work, it may not work. So it goes in a wave. Sometime you say that, look, I will do it myself. And after some time, if it doesn't succeed, you will come back.
When the BPO started, it was laid on the foundation of cost arbitrage, and like Raman said in the beginning, that cost is no longer the only determining factor. Do you feel that is the biggest reason for such statistics?
Looking for the lowest cost provider, the L1, which the purchase guys will do, and choosing a wrong vendor has been the biggest reason for the failure of offshore.
Offshore, yeah.
So because, there is a competency set, and to say that we'll just give it to the lowest cost provider who does not take into account some of the things that have to be done. So the industry has learned very rapidly. There are customers that I have handled over the last 10-15 years where we did very well for them. We grew with them, and they went out, gave a little pilot to somebody else, grew to 100 people, and then closed it down because they were unable to deliver the capability. So the right choice is important.
All right. Sanjay, what role can technology play for outsourcers, to enable them to deliver an outcome-based model?
It's no longer a cost arbitrage story, right? It's about outcome-based models and, SLA-based models that, BPOs are delivering or BPMs are delivering. So far, if you look at comparatively from the previous regime of, FT-based pricing, so the answer was more people, more revenue, right? So you're paid based on transaction, whether it's a call or a process or a person, right? And that's changed a lot now. So today, if you are able to do more productive work and you're able to utilize technology, it's a straightaway bottom line gain for you as an outsourcer, as well as you're able to deliver a superior service. So some things like, for example, if you look at back office, right? I think so far that area from our standpoint is one of the most promising area wherein technology can play an important role, because the level of automation today is not what it can reach to, right?
All right. Now, one of the biggest complaints about India is that it lacks policy stability that impacts investment decisions. Your comments on that?
It is stability from an economic reforms point of view that, we have reached out to the government. The second is, really fine-tuning labor laws such that it becomes attractive also for us to drive what is logical for the long term, which is taking this business into the tier 2, tier 3 kind of locations for the long term, right? The third is, making sure that the government understands that as all of us take our businesses into the tier 2 and tier 3 location is not a piece of cake, because earlier people assumed that, okay, this industry is stable, doesn't need any help. The reality is, when you go into a tier 3 location, you need roads, you need an airport, you need
hospitals,
schools, hospitals, we have to invest humongous sums of money on language skills, right? And it is in these areas that we are asking the government to, quicken the pace of reforms around infrastructure.
What could be the new verticals, the new growth drivers for the industry, according to you?
Two things. One is obviously, this is still the tip of the surface. A lot of large companies have large captives. A lot of the mid-market have not outsourced. So there is a huge market. There is no doubt about it. And we have the skill and we have the people who will be able to cater to that demand. But the only point I want to make is this is not automatic. We cannot automatically think that this will happen. It requires concerted effort by the industry, by government, and for the fact that we've got to continuously move up that learning curve, because there are other people, there are other companies, there are other geographies nibbling at this all the time.
All right. So it's a thumbs up from our panelists. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. It was a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you, audience. Thank you.